Consumer Protection Division we have here in the K-Wave News Link Zoom room. Oh, good morning, attorneys. If you don't mind, just introduce yourselves, first of all.
Good morning. My name is Ben Paholke. With me here is my colleague, Marina Julian, and we're Assistant Attorneys General with the Consumer Protection Division. Thanks for having us on. We really appreciate having the opportunity to inform the public about, things that might impact their financial well-being.
We're so glad to have you guys, and I just got to off the bat commend the choice of footwear that you both are using this morning. Very accessible.
Well, we like to be comfortable. You got to be quick on your feet when you're,
when you're dealing with these scammers, right? Exactly. So I know that Carlina put out the ask because there were some new scams, ever-evolving scammers. They're always evolving their scams, and so we definitely want to give people a heads up about what to look out for. So I guess we'll just turn it over to you and tell us about the latest scams that people need to look out for.
Yeah, sure. So, first, I'd just like to discuss kind of what it is that we do, because there's no like Law and Order Consumer Protection Division. I wish there was. That might be coming. But in the Consumer Protection Division, our main job is to protect people from false, deceptive, or misleading trade practices. For example, if you go buy a sandwich and the sign says it's $2, but you pay $3 instead, that's a deceptive trade practice. Or when you go order an iPhone, they give you an Android instead, that kind of stuff. But we also, we're here to discuss three types of threats in particular today. One is the scams that we were just talking about. I like to call those internet fraud because it's a bit more specific and particular to the legal language. But we're also going to discuss cybersecurity threats and dark patterns. But first, to discuss the internet scams, Marina is going to discuss some specific examples our office has seen.
Okay, so the trending scams that I've seen so far in recent years are, well, the first one is called the romance scams, where this is the unfortunate situation where people go online looking for love, and instead they find a scammer, and the scammer pretends to be the love of their life and promises all these things that they're going to get married and run off together, but then they start asking for money instead.
I feel attacked. I think I might have been a victim of this one. Go on, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I had one woman come in, and she's a retired GovGuam teacher, and she ended up giving the scammer her entire retirement savings, and she had to go back to work again. So it's really unfortunate, and you have to make sure you look out for your loved ones, especially the older ones who are looking online for love.
Yeah. Man, but I want to say that everybody thinks that there's no way in the world that this scam could happen to them. Mm-hmm. And there have been some very high profile cases over in the district court relative to this very thing, where there was these couple like Nigerian guys, they ended up scamming all through a church or something. But how do you get around that? Because like I said, people think, oh God, I would never fall for that. And that's exactly what ends up happening. I mean, too many times.
I mean, you kind of just have to also be on the lookout for red flags immediately in any relationship that you're going into. So if they start asking you for $300 right off the bat, you've never met this person, you haven't even seen them speak on camera, which is what we've seen so far. Like none of the people who got scammed and come to us, they never even saw this person on like their face moving. So that's one thing to look out for. If they start asking for money immediately, and they start asking for large sums of money, and you just talk to your friends and family too, and see if they find anything suspicious about it too, because they're looking out for the best in you, but the scammer just wants to make you feel loved and tricks you into feeling that way.
Have you guys seen an increase in this type of thing during the pandemic? Because it kind of seems like people are lonelier than they've ever been.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen an uptick in all sorts of scams, not just the romance scams, but they'll also claim to be government agencies, like they'll threaten the IRS or threaten to be the IRS and say, if you don't pay us, then we're going to sue you, or, we're going to put you in jail. Spoofed sender addresses, phishing attacks where someone mails you a fishy link or something. But the truth is, everyone's been spending more and more time inside and online. And that includes the scammers. And so as they've become more familiar with the tools, we've seen lots of scams. And, it's always really tragic when we get there too late. Like they say, an ounce of medicine or an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of medicine. And so it's always better when people call us. I mean, just last week, somebody called me and said that their mom is going to wire $50,000 to somebody overseas. And we were able to intervene and convince her not to send that stuff out. You know, you were asking how to avoid getting scammed. And it's important to know the different types of scams, like we were just discussing, but the commonalities between them is that the scammer always tries to evoke a strong emotional response in the victim, right? Romance scammers, right? I mean, that's love is a strong emotion. The IRS threats, that's a strong emotion of fear. You know, my grandmother got scammed and they used the memory of my dead uncle. And so what they'll do is they'll evoke a strong emotional response. Then they'll create a sense of urgency around getting the money out, right? If you don't give me money now, then your son's inheritance is going away, or your lover online is not going to, you know, they're going to run out of groceries or gas or something. You know, but yeah, we have seen a lot of these, and, you know, especially with romance scams, if you call them a scam, it's harder to talk people out of it. It's hard to break the spell, as I like to say.
Right.
That's why whenever I talk to somebody who's in one of these traps, I say, ma'am, well, it was a lady in that circumstance, but I say, ma'am, you are a victim of a crime. That's why I call it internet fraud, because if you say scam, then people just think that, you know, I'm giving investing advice, which I'm not. But if you refer to it as a crime, that evokes a strong emotional response. And in my experience, that helps break the spell.
Right. There's a movie, Tinder Swindler, that just came out on Netflix about this exact type of thing. And when you watch this movie, it just seems like, wow. I mean, that was a pretty sophisticated scam that guy pulled off. But the ones you guys are talking about, they seem far less conniving, I guess.
Well, they certainly come across that way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's always, they're sophisticated. They're using technology and all sorts of ways to trick people out of their money. Another type of scam is tech support scams, where someone gets a pop-up on their computer saying, hey, your computer's infected with virus, call Microsoft, and they give you the number to call, and it's not actually Microsoft's number. And they'll install some sort of a screen sharing software and take control of your machine and walk you through it and pretend to be a customer service person. I mean, that's the really sophisticated kind of stuff. So, you know, no tech support company is going to ask for remote access to your computer, right? So if you're talking with someone online and they want remote access to your computer, or they want to see what's on your screen, that's a red flag. You know, I mean, the long and short of it is, if you want to avoid getting scammed, don't send money to people you've never met online. Don't send them cryptocurrency. Don't send them gift cards. Don't send them dirty pictures, even if they sent you some first, because they'll try to blackmail you with that. You know, a scam that gets reported widely online on the scams subreddit is someone, it's very similar to the romance scam. Someone sends you a couple of photos, you send a couple back, and they say, hey, we're going to post this online or send it to your employer or to your parents unless you pay me money. That's an extortion scam. Wow. So don't send cryptocurrency, photos, gift cards, money. Meet people in person first. Oh, yes. And also there's, you know, charity fraud is a big part of our work as well.
Wow.
You know, people will say that they'll claim to be a charity that's donating money to a certain place, usually through GoFundMe and stuff like that. So it's always important to verify people that you're donating money to. And I think Marina's got some great advice on verifying who it is you're dealing with online.
Yeah, Marina, because, you know, when you talk about charities, I mean, who doesn't want to be more generous in this time we're living in, right? Who doesn't want to donate, you know, money, goods, services, or whatever to those less fortunate? So there are actually people who are preying upon this desire that people have to help others.
Sorry, you cut out there. What was that?
I was saying, what dirty scumbag would use charities to prey on people?
You know, what kind of dirty scumbag would use my dead uncle's memory to scam my grandmother? You know, I mean, it's all trickery. You know, everyone's hungry. I don't know. I just don't know what kind of people that is. But, that's why I love my job so much, because I get to protect people from that kind of stuff. So if you get a call from your bank or anything like that, what you got to do is you got to do your own research. And that's a scary thing to say nowadays, but you really do need to verify the public facing information from these scammers. If they claim to be Microsoft, don't use the phone number in the email you got or in the pop-up ad. Go Google yourself the phone number for Microsoft. And the same thing with these charities. They're normally registered someplace. Yeah. And normally have some sort of real thing. It's not, when you talk about the character of scammers, it's low moral character, absolutely. Scumbag, I think, is the right word, but they're also kind of lazy. And that's the thing about lies, is that once you have enough details, you tend to catch people in lies.
Marina, in what ways are these charity scams getting more sophisticated in 2022?
I haven't really dealt with charity scams. Have you dealt with them?
So I haven't.
Not the one specifically that their rules require sometimes. Just put out a PSA on that one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we got a report. Somebody called us and mentioned something about a Ukraine scam.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if what was going on is or isn't a scam, but these scammers will always use current events to kind of evoke that strong emotional response. So everyone's got strong feelings about Ukraine, I think, or at least most people do. And so you want to help, you want to be generous, like we were just talking about. And so if you're going to give money to a charity, be sure to research the charity to make sure that the charity has a name, that it has a mailing address, that you're able to find on your own without this person giving it to you first, because the information might be false. I don't know specifically with regards to the incident we were told about, but if you want to be careful, that's the way to do it.
So basically just verify everything that comes your way, especially when it ramps up to a point where you're going to be giving money to somebody you just met online. Precisely.
Don't give strangers on the internet money, gift cards, cryptocurrency.
Be skeptical of what you send your money to, and people can always contact our office if they want to make sure, and we can help verify that as well.
Okay. So are there any other scams? Are there any in-person scams that you guys are watching out for?
Well, I've seen the fake lottery scams or fake investment scams too. I've had one report of someone trying to trick someone locally in person of sending $10,000 because they claim they won the lottery. But a lot of it I've seen for investment or lottery scams also, it happens on Instagram. I have a lot of people adding me online called Jessica Allen. They like to use it. Bots like to use that name, or scammers like to use that name recently.
Those aren't real people. I was trying to figure out.
Sometimes they're real people, sometimes they're fake. I've played around and spoken back to people who added me, pretending that they're going to flip $300 into $3,000. And as soon as I ask, so how does this investment work? Like, what's the strategy behind it? And immediately they start getting defensive and they'll tell me it's not a scam. And I never accuse them of anything, but they'll block me immediately.
That's crazy, Marina, because I thought I was just like hot to all of the cryptocurrency chicks. I was like, what is going on, man? Jessica Allen 3088 wants to get me. Hillary Allen 5228 wants to know me. So those are scams. Got it. Okay. Back to the drawing board. What about the one where it's, I got this one on my Instagram where they said something like $500. They want to cash app me. What's my cash app? Because they want to send me $500. They want to give me $500. Is that a scam?
Certainly, yes. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. I mean, nowadays, who really is going around throwing money so easily at random people
Bill
that they've
Gates,
never even met?
Isn't Bill Gates doing it? Yeah, I get it, guys.
That's true. I need to meet him now.
Yeah. He just wants to give away this money. It's so bad. And I think that's why people really fall for these things, is because in this time that we're living in, you're praying for someone who's just like an Elon Musk to be like, you know what? I don't need all these multi-billions of dollars. I'm going to give everyone $500. I mean, that kind of thing, like a lot of people would believe it because they're so desperate nowadays.
Right. Well, in that type of scam that you were just describing, where someone wants to give you $500, normally what they'll do is they'll ask for your bank information, and then they'll use that to take money out of your account. If you're looking for an investment, you should probably go talk to a financial advisor, specifically one who is a fiduciary, who owes you a fiduciary responsibility. But if it's just strangers on the internet, that raises all sorts of red flags. And while we're on the subject, everyone needs to have a conversation with their elderly family members about this, because the elderly are vulnerable targets, and typically the ones who are specifically targeted. The lady I was just talking about, who we stopped the 50,000 transfer. I called her up and I said, "Hey, did someone reach out to you over the internet?" She says, "No, I don't have internet." Well, did someone reach out to you over Facebook? Yes, I have a friend on Facebook. And so, we talk about these things in normal, not really very technical terms, but even then, that can be a little more complicated than our elderly family can really understand.
Yeah.
So everyone needs to sit down with their grandparents or their parents and really talk to them about what it means to be safe online and what to look out for.
All right. Is that all the scams? I mean, that was quite a few. Are there any other scams that we need to know about before I let you go? Are there any
Big
election
checks.
year scams? You guys doing any vetting of the fact?
I think that's a different institution.
JK,
than us.
JK, guys, JK. I don't want to make it awkward. I don't.
Yeah, so that's about all of the scams. We also wanted to mention a couple of things. So with all that's going on in Ukraine, the U.S. Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security are warning everyone to be prepared for cyber attacks. And if your company stores PII, sensitive personal identifying information for your customers, and you suffer a data breach, you're obligated by law to inform your customers that their information was exposed in a data breach, right? So if you're storing their social security number, their driver's license, their financial account or card numbers, and you suffer a data breach, you have to tell your customers that you suffered a data breach or you're in violation of the law. Best practice, call law enforcement, call us when that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, on that note,
if you want to learn more about how to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ben, if you could just give out the numbers, because I feel like there are people getting scammed right at this minute that just want to call right now. So how do we get a hold of you guys?
475.
Area code 671. That's not a scam.
That's right.
3720.
3720.
Okay,
So
again,
that's our
sorry,
phone number.
just-
If you want to learn how to prevent, how to build your own systems to prevent cyber attacks and ransomware, you can go to stopransomware.gov, and they've got a wonderful bunch of resources there for you.
Okay. Again, that number is
Sorry, that
671.
was a different number.
Yeah, it's 671.
671-475-2720.
Okay, you got that. 671-475-2720. We did have a couple comments before I let you go. Art comments in here, or they pretend they're a creditor and ask you for account info so you can, quote, make a payment. Is that accurate? Have you seen those?
That's a common scam. Yeah,
Okay.
that happens too. So if they're, that's a spoofed email address where they create an email that looks like someone who's already in your contacts.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you really got to use the information that you already have to call them and speak to them directly. And again, don't rely on the information that was already, that they've given you, that the scammer has given you.
Last
And if you
comment.
don't know if it's a scammer or not, if it seems suspicious, give them a call, talk face to face.
Okay. Last comment here. Third-party ads that sell products, but then the product gets sold out. I had a friend order and was not able to get money back.
Well, that could very well be a violation of the Consumer Protection Act. If that person wants some assistance, go ahead and give us a call. We'll look into it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Marina. Again, that was 671-475-2720.
That's right.
Thank you. All right. Good luck.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
Stay safe.
All right. There you go. One of the takeaways, I don't know if this is which one of my grandparents used to, but if it seems too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true.